pipeline from operation to decommissioning. First of all, these are the contents that we will discussing over here in this in this conversation. Introduction to the offshore pipeline, the growing need for decommissioning, environmental impact of decommissioning and challenges in offshore decommissioning, decommissioning options and preferred strategies, and all kind of strategies that will be mitigate all those kind of effects, and conclusion and references. First of all, what is pipeline we are discussing today? Pipeline, mostly offshore pipelines, are underwater pipelines that used to transport oil and gases. Most probably is just like other resources, fossil fuels and other kind of stuff. So the purpose of these pipelines is connecting offshore to just like offshore or onshore transportation kind of system, and essential for energy transportations. And there are two types of majorly there are different types of pipelines, but we are discussing most emphasizing on these types of rigid steel pipelines, and other one is flexible pipelines. So these things that we will discussing over here, steady increase in offshore oil and gas pipelines. The first thing, as we know that the population is increasing, the growing demand of energy resources is also increasing. That's why we are going to the deep, on shallow water to the deep water for searching of more reserves oil. And then these pipelines are transporting for the energy resources from one to another, and they are also helpful for getting economical resources as well. So the growing need of decommissioning, and of sometimes when the purpose of pipelines, after a certain period of time the reserve will be depleted, and that time what we have to do, we have to be decommissioning all those pipelines. And the second thing, sometimes as the design prescribed such kind of some period of time that those platforms should be dismantled and try to be reinstalled again. So that time we need to be decommission those areas. And then we are in this 21st century, so we are moving towards renewable energy resources. That's why we have to be decommission those are not effective economically, so we have to be change those platforms to those where we can generate more energy in the less consumption cost. And then national laws, and after that we will discussing about the abundant structures that will still over there which we have to be decommissioned. As we know that in the previous, we transport oil through tankers and as well as the gas LNG tankers, but now when we are using the pipelines, because it's helped to sustain the process quite easily, how the oil spill and leakage should be more controllable, and as well as the incidents, sometimes earthquake and such kind of thing happen, so the problem can be recoverable. That's why we are shifting from oil tanker, because it's less sustainable, and moving towards pipeline. Nearly in the next 17 years, we have to be decommissioned 3,000 offshore facilities, which should be decommissioned in the next, because of their aging. As I said that in the design prescribed in the aging, let's put 30 years of platform that can be sustained, so after the time period will be finished, so we have to be decommissioned. And the next one is just like some platforms are not just like the resources are not efficient at that time, so we have to be decommissioned according to the time period. Most of them are located in North Sea, Gulf of Mexico and Southeast Asia. As you can see that these orange is the overdue of oil platforms in the sea. These are the overdue, and on the top of that, so every year from the 2024 and the next upcoming days, so we have to be decommission these kind of platforms in the next year, which we have not done before. So now we have to be every year, that will be increasing. So what is the major, why we overdue these kind of platform? The problem mostly is cost related and logistic and deep water condition. The environmental condition is not able allow us to